2 videos ago, I talked about handbags that are worth the money and are definitely value for money. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the opposite of that, which are handbags that are way overpriced and are definitely not worth the money. In contrast to that previous video, these are handbags with questionable price tags and prices that are borderline ridiculous for the type of bag that they are. But before anything else, if you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers this year, so if these are the kinds of videos that you like watching, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to connect with me on my socials, it's at TrishDLF. So this video is a result of that previous video, the luxury handbags that are worth the money. If you haven't seen it, I will have it linked up above. But because I did a video on value for money bags, I thought it would also be interesting to do a video on ridiculously priced handbags. Because as much as there are many value for money and good quality handbags, there are also the exact amount of ridiculously priced ones. So because we are talking about luxury designer handbags, there are obviously a lot of ridiculously priced handbags out there. But for the sake of this video, we will narrow down the bags to those that are readily available, meaning those that are commercially available, because as you know, luxury designer houses have their couture line, and that's basically for the cream of the crop customers, because for couture, prices can definitely be outrageous, and these are like made to order kind of items, so obviously we're not going to be including that in this list. So most of everything that I'm going to be putting in this list, they're mostly the ones that you can buy readily in store and are mostly those that are common, so nothing really outrageously couture in this video. Also, I want to set the parameters. By overpriced, I mean bags that are definitely not worth the money, and these are bags where I gauge the material and compare it to the price, and if they don't really match up, if like the material is kind of too cheap for the price, then that's when I consider it overpriced. These are also bags that I don't really foresee lasting very long, and if you're looking to invest your money in handbags, then these are bags that I definitely don't think you should put your money in. So let's get started, and number 1 on my list is not surprising, but it's a Chanel flat bag. But not just any Chanel flat bag, it is a tweed Chanel flat bag. The Chanel flat bag in general is already very expensive. The medium large version already starts at 10 grand, I think, and it just goes up from there, and this in the leather material. We all know that the Chanel flaps are already way overpriced, but in terms of being worth the money, a tweed flat bag is definitely something where your money will just go down the drain. For this video, I will be talking about the tweed Chanel flap in the medium large size, because this one is priced at $9,700 US. This one's currently available on their website. There's a green version, there's a white version, and I think there's like a pink red version, and they're all priced at $9,700 US. And in terms of value for money and being worth the money, I really don't think of this worth the money or anything close to that, because number 1, it's tweed. Like for lambskin or for other types of leather, I would still understand like the premium on it, but for a tweed bag, I mean, yes, granted, the interior is made of leather, but everything else is made of tweed, and tweed is basically cloth. So for $9,700 US, you're basically just paying for the branding of this bag, because are you really paying $9,700 for tweed? Yeah, I don't think so. Tweed ages faster and is more prone to scuffing, pilling, and damages because it's made of a textile material. So I definitely think that this bag is overpriced, and you would be out of your mind to buy this retail. Unless you're loaded, of course. If you're loaded, then go buy anything you want. Second on this list is the Lady Dior medium wicker bag. This bag actually got kind of popular. Some YouTubers have it, and I think some vloggers as well. It's basically the Lady Dior in a wicker version. And wicker is, again, a cheap kind of material. It doesn't cost much to make, so for the price tag of this, and they're asking for $6,100 US, it's kind of hefty for a wicker bag. I live in a tropical country, and a lot of vendors here, especially those by the beaches, sell these types of handbags, and yes, it's basically very easy to make. Wicker is basically straw or rattan, and they're made from reeds or bamboo, which are mostly readily available, especially if you're in a tropical country. So for this price tag of $6,100 US, it's definitely overpricing for this type of material. Although the wicker Lady Dior bag is very fashionable and fancy, I don't really see this as something long-term. It's more of like a trendy bag for me, and with regard to pricing, that is a lot of money. I would much rather just put it in a lambskin Lady Dior bag. Next is another Chanel, and again, it's in tweed because I really think that their most overpriced items are the tweed ones. They also did have some metal bags or like the steel and like these small couture pouches, but those are couture. They were, I think, like 9 grand and up for like very small items, but I thought I won't really include them because they're not really like everyday kind of bags. So this next tweed bag is also kind of seen with a lot of influencers answered, and it's the small vanity case in the tweed material. So mini bags also trended for a while, and of course Chanel had to come up with their own mini bags, and one of the mini bags that they came up with is the small vanity bag. However, it is at $5,100 US for a mini bag. I mean, like my Speedy Nano and my Balenciaga Nano, they were only like less than 2 grand. So can you just like let that sink in for a moment? These are only like less than 2 grand versus something of the same size, a small vanity, and in tweed, not even leather, because these are both in leather. So that tweed mini bag is at 5 grand plus. Like 2 grand versus 5 grand for a mini bag, guys, for a mini bag. For comparison's sake, I have my trusty measuring tape over here, and I will show you guys how small that vanity case is, the one that's on their website. The one that's currently available on their website, it says it's like around 4.9, so I'm gonna say 5. So 5 inches. This is 5 inches, guys. 5 inches by 6 inches. So I'm assuming the 5 is the height. Let's say this is the height by 6 inches, the width. And then the depth, I think, is like 3 inches. So this is how much stuff you can put in that. So it's basically like probably this small, like the 5 by 6. It's this tiny. 5 grand, guys. 5 grand. I think, let's just say this is the size, okay? Is it 5? Yeah, this Speedy Nano is 6 inches for the width. And yeah, about the same, 5 inches on the height. So guys, can you imagine? This one was only less than 2 grand. And then you're gonna buy a tweed Chanel, like this tiny, for 5 grand. Can you imagine? Like converted to peso, that's 250,000 plus pesos for a bag that's small as this. I mean, I'm not gonna blame the fashion people because, you know, they set the trends, and if mini bags are trending, then that's gonna be what's expensive. And yeah, Chanel's taking advantage and using that up. They're just eating it all up and pricing mini bags at that price range. So that's why I don't think it's worth it, because for 5 grand, you can buy so many things with 5 grand, and you choose to spend it on a tweed bag. So just some food for thought, and that's why I really think that that bag is definitely overpriced and not worth the money. Okay, now this next one is really questionable, and it really got me thinking. I was like, is this a glitch when I saw it on the website? Because the price of this item is ridiculous for what it is, and it doesn't even look nice. There is no aesthetic factor to it at all. I don't know anyone who would be attracted to this bag, but that bag is the Fendi X-Tote Large in mink. So you have to note it's the mink version, which I'm assuming is why it's at this price range, and it's at a whopping 19 grand. I'm just gonna show pictures over here so you guys can see. This is probably the first time you've heard of this bag because it's pretty new. I actually scoured the websites for most of the designers looking for the most overpriced items on their catalog, and this one just made me go like, whoa. Like, why is it selling for so high? So basically, it's in mink, and that's why it's commanding for such a high price. I don't know how hard it is to create the mink bags because they're fur, so they're fox fur. So I just don't know like the supply and demand of that, of how hard it is to create. But wow, 19 grand. Like, when I saw it, I was like, what? And it's basically just a tote. I actually even thought that it's probably bigger than it is because it said extra large, but I actually checked the dimensions, and it said that the height was at 32 cm. So this is the height, okay, note this height, okay, and then the width was at 45.5 cm, so it's somewhere over here, so it's not that big. It's like something like this, and then like this. It's not that huge, because for 19 grand, I was thinking like it's probably like a huge ass bag that's couture, right? But it's not. It's just like a almost regular tote bag. So I was like, why is it so expensive? 19 grand. Is that an Hermes bag you're selling? Is that a Birkin? Is that a Chanel flap? I don't know. I don't know what's up with Fendi. What got into them? Why they decided to price this bag so high? Let me know if you know the reasoning behind that, because I just can't get my head around it. Because Fendi has a bunch of mink fur bags in their website, and they're not as outrageously priced as this extra large tote bag. So yeah, it really got me thinking, and I definitely think that this overpriced. Like resale value of that bag, can I tell you? You buy that bag for 19 grand, and when you're finally sick of it, you'll probably be able to get like maybe 2 grand at best for that bag, okay? 2 grand, like for resale after you've used it. So I don't really think that's a good idea unless, again, if you're loaded and don't mind just throwing your money away. And finally, what is an overpriced bag video without the most overpriced item of all time? The Birkin or Kelly bags. But comparing it right now, the Birkin and Kelly bags are almost the same price as the Chanel flat bags. And with regard to quality, Hermes still has it more than Chanel. So yeah, probably not as overpriced. It's because of the Hermes game that's what makes it overpriced. However, for this video, I would like to zoom in on a specific handbag, and it's the picnic bag from Hermes. So the picnic bag comes in different styles. It has the Kelly version, the Birkin version, and I think in 2019 they released the mini Kelly version. So these picnic bags are basically another version of the Lady Dior wicker bag. They're basically your classic Hermes Kelly or Birkin bags in a wicker material. I don't have the retail prices of the Kelly and the Birkin version, but I do have the price of the mini Kelly picnic bag because it was just released in 2019. And the retail price of this mini Kelly picnic bag is at $13,800 US. And that's without pre-spend. That's without spending your 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 at Hermes before actually being offered this bag. And it's very rare. It's a very rare, hard to get bag. So that's the starting price because that's the mini version. So you can just imagine. So you can almost like gauge how much the regular sized Kelly and the Birkin is in comparison to the mini, which starts at 13 grand. When I checked the secondary market, because this is a very hard to get bag and it's only really offered to very important clients, I saw the price range in the secondary market going from like 50 to 80 grand. So I think the 50 grand was for used picnic bags and the 80 grand was their starting for the brand new ones. And the 80 grand for brand new is just their starting price, okay? The highest I saw was I think like 130 grand. So yeah, pretty expensive. It's a wicker bag, guys. Please take that into consideration. These are freaking wicker bags, and they're selling for like 50 to 100 grand for a wicker bag or a tan or bamboo bag. Like, I would really understand if it were leather because that would really last long, but a wicker bag, guys. Like, can you imagine a wicker bag? You set it on fire, it goes up in flames, and you're left with ashes. That's what happens to wicker bags when they go on fire. And spending 50 to 130 grand for this bag. 50 is like 2.5 million pesos when converted. That's a lot of money for a wicker bag. So yeah, I don't know. At this point, like at that price range, it's more of considered as an art piece already. I think like if you consider it as an art piece, the value could still go up and yada yada, things like that, you know, and you might actually still be able to get some money out of it in the long run, like if it becomes more rare than it is. These prices are very ridiculous and there's no saying when they're going to stop. The Himalayan Birkin is also a very expensive Hermes bag, but I didn't put that in there because the Himalayan is more popular than this picnic bag. A lot of people actually have the Himalayan Birkin and they consider it as investment bags because yeah, there's really potential for that because a lot of people really want it. There's a demand for it. So there's really like an investment opportunity when it comes to that bag. However, for the picnic bag, I'm not so sure. Like I haven't really seen much people rave about it. So if you put your money into buying this bag, especially in the secondary market, if you're never offered this bag in store, if you end up going to the secondary market for it, then I feel like you'd probably lose some money buying it. And if you want to resell later on, I'm not sure how much more you could get out of it. So yeah, those were my top picks for the most overpriced bags that I could think of right now in 2023. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button down below. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers this year, so I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to connect with me on my socials, it's at TrishDLF. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!